Yeah. Don't know what to say anymore. I really don't. He just keeps making mad gun noises as if he's out playing on the road, and he's about 8.
I was doing it for ages before I unmuted myself as well.
Yeah, good man, good man. This is the midweek fix with me, Gav, Andy, and Keith. We asked the powers that be, could we do some random stuff? And they said, listen, you can do some random stuff only during international breaks and only if you include some proper football chat. And we said, grand. Now, we'll try our best to keep to that, but the chances are the random stuff's going to take over for the vast majority. Little bit of housekeeping first. If you are not on the Flicksport app, go and download it. It's in the description underneath this video. If you want to talk to Liverpool fans and you want to just have a chat and Twitter's wrecking your nut, you can go in there. As I said, it's all there in the description. You click on that, you go in, type in Trippers chats, the end of the group, and you can chat away with all Liverpool fans in there, right? So that's that out of the way. Andy, I'm going to come to you first.
Go ahead, Gav.
No problem, Andy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead.
I'm a bit disappointed you haven't got that sepia filter on like Neil had the other night. But listen, that's just specific to Neil how it looks. Andy, I'm going to come to you first. We ran a poll on Twitter and Instagram and the Flicksport apps today with regards to Mo Salah and Luis Suarez. Now, I've heard people say, Suarez is the best we've ever seen. And listen, he is one of the best you've ever seen play for Liverpool. And then you look at Salah's record of it's something like 137 goal participations or whatever they call them in 156 games. Where do you stand on this, Andy? Who goes down as the bigger, I suppose, who has the biggest legacy at Liverpool between those two?
Obviously, Salah has the biggest legacy. He'll always have the biggest legacy. What we've done with Liverpool with Salah and the team, seeing the great thread just before I came on, just decorating him, everything about his personal awards and what we've achieved with him, his goals, his assists, the impact he's had, incredible. We might very well look back at Salah saying he's the greatest of all to play for the club when you consider everything objectively. But then we all have our own little football needs, and at the time, Suarez really fulfilled them for me. I never really got so much satisfaction out of a footballer as I did Suarez.
Yeah.
It was just his attitude, how he played the game at 90 miles an hour. He was so aggressive. I loved it. And the variety of goals you got from him, the shock moments you got from him, not just like the biting incidents and stuff like that, but the things he did out of the blue. I'll look back fondly on him as well.
I look fondly back on Luis Suarez. The volley against Arsenal in 2013-14 that doesn't go in would have went down as one of the best goals you've ever seen.
I never ever forget that.
He's just hanging around. He's hanging around the edge of the box, and I only seen these goals the other day in the run up to the Arsenal game, right? And if you watch, it's Skirtle's second goal, with the kind of looping header from a corner. But if you watch it back, Suarez is hanging out on the edge of the box, not interested in getting in there where people are throwing heads in. He's hanging around, and then they just play another one, and he just hits this volley that's just outrageous and so hard and so straight. And if it had went in, it would have been the best goal you've probably ever seen. But for me,
if that goal went in, the whole world would have been sucked into the goal with it.
It was ridiculous.
It would have ended everything. Black hole.
It was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's loads of comments coming in. Megan McCallan says Salah all day. Will O'Moran says Mohamed Salah is the new god.
That's right.
To be honest with you, I've seen this going around a little bit, Keith, and I thought, well, let's have this discussion. Let's run a poll. Now, to be honest with you, all the polls ran out about 80-20 in Salah's favour. And the argument that you get about Suarez is that he's just for what you're seeing. Like, he was there, 3.5 seasons at Liverpool, and the last season was just madness. But that followed on from him trying to leave the club, if you remember rightly, and then he does leave the club following the 2014 World Cup. But for you, Keith, where did he both stand? Because I'm going to put my hand up. I think Salah is fucking miles ahead of him in standings as a Liverpool player. I'm being honest.
Yeah, in standings as a Liverpool player, Salah is ahead of him. But who do I think is the better player? I think Suarez. But that's not to take anything away from Salah. I think as a Liverpool player, Salah has been part of the rejuvenation, and Suarez essentially won fuck all. He won a League Cup and that was it. And when you put it down to that, if you take it down to the brass tacks of who won what, there's no comparison. But that's a bit unfair, I think. I think if you were to reverse them, now I know they don't play the same position, but if you were to reverse them and put Salah in the Rodgers team and put Suarez in this team, you know, would that be much of a difference? Would Suarez be getting 40 odd goals a season? I think he would. Would Salah get 40 odd in the Rodgers team? Maybe not. But that's really irrelevant, because when it comes down to it, he'll get remembered more. There'll be pictures of Salah with the Champions League, and there'll be pictures of Salah with the Premier League and World Club Cup and whatever else comes his way. So, you know, as a Liverpool player, Salah all day long. But if you were to ask me who I think is better, Suarez.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and I tried to keep away from the better player argument. I'm trying
to get right on it.
I know, yeah. I tried to keep away from that, because if you look at them both, they're both outrageously good. You know, Suarez that season was just, it was mind blowing what he was doing. You know, he even figured out ways to start chipping balls off fellas' hands and everything if he needed to do it, and he was scoring goals. He missed the first 5 games of that season because of a previous ban. It was just, but what he done, like, it's still up there. It's probably the second best season I can remember watching Liverpool in my adult life, anyway. Behind last season, you know. And what he was doing was outrageous. I think if you put Salah into that 13-14 side, I think he scores an absolute bag full of goals, because we were all about hitting teams on the break and being really, really quick about it, and that suits Salah down to the ground. Suarez in this one, the argument is probably take Firmino out and put Suarez in his prime into this side, and it just goes off the charts altogether. You know, but I have to stick with the whole legacy thing. And Andy, you know, we're not getting into Dalglish and Gerrard territory, or John Barnes even, because John Barnes is the best that's ever played with the club. But where do you rank them? Where do you rank both of them, I suppose? Rank them both. Like, if you were to put Salah in 5th, would Suarez be 10th? You know, that kind of way. Rank them both from the Andy.
Liverpool legend status?
Yeah.
Oh, well, like, I don't think Suarez really falls into that category, you know, and it's one of those things, like, everybody has their own definition of what a legend is or world class is. Like, the likes of Kenny, Stevie, you know, Souness, they get on as players you remember fond, you know, for all the right reasons. I just thought of a bit of an analogy there. Like, Salah would be
go on. I love this. Go on.
Salah would be the girlfriend that's marriage material, whereas you wouldn't bring Suarez home to your ma. You know,
I doubt you'd bite your ma. Come on.
It'd be the girlfriend that does the very bold things, and
the very bold things.
Rusty trumpets and all the rest. Like,
okay,
like they both have their own charms.
Free World says great analogy.
You know,
you're making a complete bollocks of this, and I love it. Go on.
No, it's stick a boy. It came into my head. I'd like to be able to bring get this across a bit better, but I think if we all were to think about it, I think that's a good way to put it. Salah's you bring home to your ma, she'd love him. Suarez just too bold.
Your ma would be wary of him.
Yeah, and look, he's a bit of a tramp, you know, going around different clubs and sorting himself out in the papers and moving and all that, you know.
Yeah,
and so that I don't know. throw in your comments there. See if you agree with me.
I think it's going to be hard to top that analogy between now and say 11:15. Peter Jones asks, "Is a pint of Baileys with ice too far?" No. is the answer. You put as much of that, litres if you want. You do what you like. But so where are you ranking them? Despite your analogy. Sorry, and just before you go on, David Lennon asks, is Barnes that good? Yes, he was that good. Jesus Christ.
But the Barnes thing, right, before you move on, was Barnes really that good? I think I loved him when I was younger, but his peak was only really like 3 years, wasn't it? You know what I mean? He got injured and he sort of had to transform himself. But early
was
Barnes,
that good.
the 87 to 91 sort of Barnes was the peak and was amazing.
I'd have John Barnes.
Longevity, you know what I mean? Like Suarez and Salah don't have longevity, but Barnes, his peak was only really them maybe 4 years.
The thing that holds Barnes back is the whole England situation.
Yeah.
That's what holds him back. If Barnes hadn't gone through the crap he went through with England, he'd be held in a much much higher regard.
And the European ban.
And the European ban.
Because he would have had multiple European Cups. And if he'd have got multiple European Cups, no doubt they would have won European Cups, because the winners of the European Cup there during that period, I think Steaua Bucharest won one, AC Milan are on the start there, Johnny won one. Like it wasn't top Porto, I think, won one. Like it wasn't top quality, so there was cups there to be won, and if Barnes had been a multiple European Cup winner, he would have been mentioned as an all-time great.
I know what he's laughing at, and I'm not leaving it out. Because Stefan has gone, or Stephen, or I don't know, do we call him Stefan? He's gone full caps lock, and it's not pretty reading, let's be honest. But Barnes was that good. Keith, Salah.
Where would Barnes fall in? I know it was my analogy.
Better than both of them.
Better than marriage material.
Yeah, I think you're signing a prenup with Barnes. You want him that much.
Yeah, Salah's probably our second choice. Barnes is the one that got away.
Barnes just outrageous.
The dream, the magic,
the booty call.
Yeah,
it was an Achilles injury that killed him. Then it killed him. LBM. Lens-based media says treatment of Barnes is what put me off supporting England and helped fed into anti-international feeling for supporters. I agree with you fully. He was, the way he was treated was outrageous, and he was literally he was up there as one of the best players in the world. And what England, the way England fans and I went on about him was just madness. But Keith, Salah, Suarez, what way are you ranking them?
Again, as a Liverpool player, I would have Salah ahead of Suarez. It's hard to put a number on it. Do you know what I mean? But I'd have them pretty close. Salah as a goal scorer is outstripping them all. You know what I mean? If you were to go down to his numbers, he's outdoing all of them. So would he be in the top 5? Possibly. Will he end up there? Probably. But yeah, we go Salah 5, and as a Liverpool legend, I'll put Suarez 6, because I think he's that good. I loved Suarez.
I think he was outrageous.
He fought every ball. He never had a day off, except when he was banned. They were his days off. But even when he was playing bad,
they weren't his days off. They were months off. He was getting.
Yeah, well, after he recharged his batteries, then.
Getting months off. Andy's laughing at something else again. Andy, what are you laughing at?
Oh, comments are amazing.
Okay. Well, if you want to throw them up on screen, you can. Or if you feel I can read them out, I'll read them out.
No, a true one up there. He didn't like it.
Oh, no, sorry. I don't know how that went off. Okay. Yeah. All right. People can see that, so they can go with that. I can't read that out. Can't read that out.
Before we go on, Stephen, right, is having a go at me about never seeing Barnes and Barnes being Maradona or whatever. Barnes in his prime. I remember Barnes in his prime. So when I got really start watching football was the 87, the earliest memories I have. So, and I had the videos growing up like that of the mighty Reds, the 87, 88 season, well aware of Barnes and how good he was. And it was just a shame, as we said, that he didn't get to do more on the international stage.
Yeah. If you're watching, please share. Hit the share button. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. If you're on Twitter and you go onto our Twitter feed, you'll see we've put out a tweet about this show. If you can retweet that as well, it'd be great. And don't forget the Flicksport app. It's available on Android. It's available on Apple, and it's a great place for a lot of people that are in this chat. Chat all day in there, so, and there's loads of different bits and pieces, so don't forget that. Random questions are extremely welcome tonight, so don't be afraid to throw them in there, and we keep an eye on them as we go, right? And while we're waiting on them, let's talk about the second subject. And the second subject is the scapegoating of players. Now, this came about yesterday, I think. The guy from the Mail, what's his name? Dominic King. Done a piece on basically Naby Keita's tackle success rate, or how many he's made in the first 4 games of the season. He was pulled up on it by a couple of Liverpool fans who said, no, you're wrong, that's completely wrong, and he told them, listen, I triple checked it with Opta and stuff like that. Turns out, from what you look at it, he was wrong. But the big thing that came over for me was, and we got a lot of abuse yesterday because it was like, our tweet was something like, having a cup of tea, having a good laugh at this going on, and we used the words Twitter nerd, or not stat nerd, and that wasn't something that you're having a go at something. They just are. Like, there's lads in our podcast that I would regard as stat nerds at times. It's nothing derogative, but the reason it was amusing was that this conversation was even going on. If Liverpool win that game on Sunday evening against Aston Villa, there's no way in hell Dominic King or anybody else is writing an article about the amount of tackles Naby Keita has made. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people online that are absolutely nailed their colours to the Naby Keita mast, and you can't, like, literally we were being told we were being racist and everything yesterday because we mentioned something about Naby Keita. We were racist. They were asking us to call him sorry, Andy, they were asking us to call him the N-word and then piss off, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? People completely misread the situation. Where we are coming from with that is that after Sunday, if you feel the big takeout of all of this is Naby Keita's tackle rate, there's something wrong. Right, one, the whole team should be looked at from start to finish, and two, why is it always Naby Keita? And I'm going to say it now, and I've said it loads of times. Naby Keita has all the tools to be a brilliant footballer for Liverpool. He's shown flashes of it. He's been a bit unlucky with injuries. He's been a bit up and down. I thought he was great at the back end of last season. He started this season really well. But it seems to be that, and this is where the scapegoating comes from, and it's starting on Firmino a little bit as well now. Yeah. It just seems to be that when something goes wrong, we need to find one person and just lash them until, like, you can't lash them no more. Do you know what I mean? Andy, the scapegoating of players, where do you stand on this? Because I just think it's getting stupid now. You can watch a game and go, he played bad and he didn't. He played well, he didn't. That's fine. But this is just consistent. It's like, pick the easiest target or pick the one that'll get the most sort of attention and just go for them. It often gets confused, when you have a goal, people slagging off the players. They often say to you, oh, can we not have some constructive criticism, and there can't be discourse, taking place on the player unless, you got top reds and blah, 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 having a go, people criticising. No, that's not it. It's scapegoating is completely different from making an observation about someone's game, as we do on podcasts every week. Scapegoating is blaming individuals for other people's shortfalls. So Adrian got a lot of stick for the other night. He was responsible for one goal, really. You know what I mean? The whole team performed poorly. And in Dominic King's article, look, I don't really read tabloid newspapers at all, so it didn't click into it. But the headline, made Naby out to be a scapegoat, blaming Naby's performance in midfield for the other two guys in midfield's poor performance, for the guys up front's poor performances, for the guys at the back poor performance. Liverpool were tongue 7-2 by Villa. It wasn't Adrian's fault, and it wasn't Naby Keita's fault. And the stats produced weren't Keita's. I know we're kind of going off on a bit of a tangent here, but the thing about it is,
Keita is not going to be the Keita we've seen for Leipzig. I said it the other night. It looks like Klopp is converting him to a more functional type of player in midfield. That we have 6 or 7 players that can come in, and he picks 3, and they can all do a decent job in there and play to the team's strengths, getting the fullbacks up high, pressing and forcing the team to make mistakes. We're not really going to have the Keita who had a lot more freedom at Leipzig. First of all, it was a weaker league. And second of all, Liverpool play a different style of football. So Keita is the subject of a huge amount of divisive opinions in a similar way to Henderson has been at times, in a similar way to Emre Can was, in a similar way to we had Lovren and Sacco, and the way people used to put players up against each other. It's just weird, finding it really weird that some fans also, on the other scale, support certain players and not the team. So if you plaster your colours to the mast early on about Naby Keita, you can't just kind of get involved in the discussion that needs to be had about his performances. And, you know, it has to be defensive stuff. Oh, you're criticising Naby, you're racist now. You know, you're criticizing. What about him? It's not like that. I mean, there's a percentage of people who go on mad ones about players. You know, they really love them, and there's very little logic behind it. And then there's certain people who hate players, and it seems to be those that either love a player at the expense of another player, and that's the scapegoat. That's not, for me, that's not how people should be supporting a football team, personally.
But you see, the thing is, now, I know where you're coming from. There is people that will, rightly or wrongly, they will decide that Naby Keita or Sadio Mane or any player in the squad is the best things. They are completely and utterly on that train of how good they are, and they won't take any sort of criticism of that player well, right? There is people that do that. There's no doubt about that. That's very simple, right? What I would say is the other day, Andy, like, people defended Naby Keita the other day. Now, some of them people, maybe people that just won't take any bad word against Naby Keita. But in fairness, the other day, they were absolutely right in what they were doing, because there is no way that article's being written if Liverpool win on Sunday. None. Not a chance, right? So this article comes out the day after the transfer window ends, and it's basically told, well, if you look at the concern Liverpool should have, Naby Keita hasn't done this. Why weren't we given a breakdown of what Gini Wijnaldum's done, or Jordan Henderson, or James Milner, or Virgil van Dijk, who was poor at the weekend? It seemed to be you focus in on this, and you see, I think it's a rollover effect, because listen, journalists know that there's a section of Liverpool fans that adore Naby Keita and won't have a word said against him, and it's easy pickings if you throw something out like that. Now, he turned out to be wrong, which it didn't work for him. But what I'm saying is, the racist stuff is mad. Like, we seen it the other day. The comments we got was just, I don't know. I didn't even know what to say to them. You know, I didn't even reply to them. And I know anyone, and I know everybody else that has access to where account was told not to reply to that sort of stuff. But when you look at this, and Keita come to you, the scapegoating of players just seems to be. Is it a war for clicks? Is it what do you think? What do you think the purpose of it is? Because you will get it from journalists who just want their article to get loads, but you'll see it from fans and stuff like that. What angle are they coming at? Because it does nobody any good for this to happen. All right, tell a player, not tell a player, but have your opinion if a player's played well or not. But it's just a constant fucking thing that you just go, what's the game here?
Yeah, I mean, it's I suppose it's two-pronged, isn't it? I mean, the journalists, and I'm not having to go with Dominic King. I actually like Dominic King, but journalists are just clickbait merchants now, and will put things in just to get clicks and to get traction, right? That's the way that's gone. And it's, you know, it's egg on his face for King, because he was wrong. You know, he's proved to be wrong. But with fans, it's something you said. They pick a hill and they die on that hill, no matter what happens. And look, we see it with Henderson all the time. People will not admit how good Jordan Henderson is. And Naby Keita is the other one. Naby Keita has to be the best. He has to be the best, or he has to be the worst. I'm a huge fan of Naby Keita. But Naby Keita, when I say I'm a huge fan of Naby Keita, there's no Liverpool player I want to see fail. And I'm sure you two are the same. And I'm sure 90% of the people in the chat room is the same. You don't want Liverpool players to fail. But Naby Keita has not done what was expected of him since we signed him. Now, that's not a criticism of him. It was a £53 million player, and he hasn't proven it just yet. You know, there's been scapegoats all over the place. Look, Karius a scapegoat? There's been loads of them. Fans send Karius death threats. Fans send Adrian death threats. Send Gini Wijnaldum to get out of a club. Do you know what I mean? There's every single player. James Milner has got it. Trent at one time has got it. Joe Gomez has got it. They all get it. But Naby Keita seems to be the king of a certain demographic that will not fault him. And then with Henderson, there's a certain demographic who will not praise him. And there's just certain players that are above and beyond. There's been loads, as we said, Karius, Gomez, loads of them have got it. But there's certain ones that are just above everything else. And Keita and Henderson are two of the prime examples of that, in my opinion.
Free word last, was Karius a scapegoat? Yeah, he was.
Yeah, pretty much
but
so.
but having
Was
said
he
that,
though? Was he?
well,
I mean,
it was more of, I think of, yeah, I think, I don't know if scapegoat's probably the right word actually. He just, if you look at him now, what's happened to him in that Champions League final in 2018, he'll never recover from, in my opinion. Never. You know, he was Liverpool 2 years ago. He was Liverpool's number one goalkeeper. He signed for the Union Berlin on loan because no one will buy him. But you see, the evidence against Loris Karius was damning. In that game alone, and possibly even more so in the pre-season game, if you remember, away at Blackburn. Was it Blackburn? Tranmere,
Yeah,
where he makes another howler, and you just know everything's gone, and everyone was piling in him out of frustration. You know, I know lads that are just infuriated with him about the whole. He was in Hollywood, wasn't he? And he was making videos. Now, I always joked he was on his holidays. He was making a video. Who cares? You know, but let's be honest about it. You know, it's not the best look. Although, you know, do you have a bad day in work and then let it affect your holiday? You probably don't. But this is on a much bigger scale. But the thing about Karius was he was ran down, and there was the evidence was there in front of you in the biggest game in Liverpool in you know how many years for Liverpool in the Champions League final. But the thing about Keita for me is that there's evidence to support both sides. There's evidence to support that he's really good. There's evidence to support that he's probably not doing what you're seeing of him in Germany. But I think
they were both excellent in Germany. But look,
but the thing about it is, Andy, you're right. He's a different player. Liverpool are looking for him to play differently than he did in Germany.
Yeah,
and that's probably that probably weighs the argument in favour of showing him more support while he adapts. And all right, you can say, listen, this is his third full season, but he has had injury problems and the team has evolved a little bit. But for me, you can argue both sides on Keita. Once you're willing to give and take. The problem with Keita is you're either extremely on this side or extremely on that side about him. And if you actually find people that are quite, I suppose, open about it and you know, not more willing to listen, because people listen to you and listen. But if you find more some sort of measure, you will. The overriding thing about Naby Keita is he's brilliant. He has all the tools. He is possibly could go on to be a brilliant footballer for Liverpool. But it's shown in fits and starts, and that's absolutely fair. But what I don't like is I don't like someone just coming in like, and you're just deciding, bang, he's not good enough, and bang, 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 and you will go on about it for fucking 5 years if you have to, until he's left the club, and then go, I told you I was right. Well, he's there for 5 years, buddy. You're probably not. Do you know the kind of way?
Yeah. Look, Naby Keita is being scapegoat by my definition and my understanding.
I think so. Yeah,
he is being like his failures are being, you know, they're blaming him on what other people's failures. Do you know what I mean? Karius is totally different. He made 2 unforced errors on the biggest stage with such high stakes. Mm-hmm. He was directly responsible for losing that game. Okay, so when people criticize him or give him a hard time, now I'm saying that there's a limit to what's acceptable and what's not. Obviously, some of the shit that came out online and some of the carry on now people is they're not real. I don't know. Not A real human being doesn't send death threats to a footballer.
No.
But ripping him over and expressing your disappointment and your anger at Karius is totally different. I mean, we lost the European Cup final because of his own forced errors, and that's it. Like that's not scapegoating. That's just saying it as it is. But Naby Keita getting media coverage, negative media coverage after a poor enough performance by him and the rest of the team. That's scapegoat. And I often remember certain people couldn't compliment Lovren when he had a good game. If Lovren had a good game, it was because Saka was beside him and Saka was babysitting him, or somebody beside him made him play well. Yet when he made a mistake, it was never anything to do with anyone else.
Yeah.
So it's such an imbalance about some people read the game, and I just like to see fair criticism and praise across the board. And for a long time, I noticed Henderson was on the receiving end of very unfair criticism. Nico Williams recently, James Milner for whatever reason. There was a strange thing when he came in that people disliked him. What did they not like? He just wasn't technical enough. He wasn't European enough. But by God, look what he's done. Like he will go down as one of our, not greats, but certainly our best ever free signing, and the impact and the influence that he's had on so many different things. Yeah, people were seen to have this obsession with how he played.
Olivier, is it, says, so Karius lied when he told us he was concussed. No, nobody's saying Karius lied when he said he was concussed. But the thing is, like, people will blame him on that as well. If you're concussed, don't stay on the pitch. Insist on going off the pitch if you don't feel right. You know, that's what people will come back at you with. You know, Loris Karius, if he was injured in the Champions League final, right, it's unfortunate. He tries to play on fair. You know, anyone would. You know, it's the Champions League final. You don't want to come off. But people will throw at him that, well, you were injured and you should have come off for the better of the team. He was in a no-win situation. No-win situation. Unless he fucking was concussed, he got dizzy, he fucking stumbled across the line and managed to save something that looked unsavable. Then, other than that, it's a no-win situation for Loris Karius. And you've just seen what's happened to his career since. You know, what scapegoat is probably not the right word, because it wasn't really an long-running team with Loris Karius. It was just a nervousness over him all the time. And then eventually, you know, the perfect storm in the Champions League final in 2018. With Keita, though, for me, I'm not happy with the treatment of Keita. I'm going to be honest with you. I can tell you one week he's great, and I can tell you the other week he's not, and that's fine.
Fair.
You know, but I'm that article the other day, for me, it was laughable that the article was A, out there, and B, that people were arguing over it, because it shouldn't have got any credence whatsoever, in my opinion. Because if, as I said, and I'll say it again, if Liverpool had a 1-3-0 at Aston Villa, nobody would be writing about Naby Keita's tackle success over the first 4 games of the season. Just wouldn't happen. And the second thing is, even if they did lose, they lost heavily. Why are we talking about Naby Keita and Naby Keita alone? Why aren't we talking about the whole team? Why it'd be fairer to come out and go, oh, could you have doubts over Liverpool this season after what you've just seen? Now, they might be, you know, based on fucking, I don't know, nothing, because of just a freak result. But it'd be a lot fairer article to question Liverpool's, you know, drive, organisation, stamina, whatever it might be, than talk about Naby Keita's tackle success rate. That was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But look, we could go on about it all night.
Come here, it's crazy. Like, people only want hot takes, and you saying, or I think you tweeted, you know, you were having a cup of tea and having a laugh at the nerds. Like, you know, that's the kind of thing that generates a response from people and triggers people's emotions, whether they're big Naby fans or they're not, and people coming out with the mad racist comments and stuff. Look, you know, you called stat people nerds, right? Nerds is no longer a job or an insult. Yeah. It's like a kid in school with glasses now. They don't get called specky forwards. It's kind of normal for people now to have like our way of thinking has changed. Like, people are nerds that aren't frowned upon anymore. They have some of the best jobs in the world now in IT and analysis, and you know, when we said that, obviously it was a sarcastic comment about them being nerds, but it's just sometimes statistics can be used very, very subjectively, and they're used solely to prove somebody's point. Well, and what someone said was, "Are you calling Klopp a fool for having all his stat nerds?" But that's not really what Klopp stat nerds are employed to do. What they're employed to do is define a problem, measure it, analyze it, and find solutions. That's how you would use statistical analysis. If, with a that has a positive response. Somebody who's on Twitter that just picks out stats and puts them all together to create their own narrative or create their own picture. That's when stats are being used without context. And Naby Keita's tackles or whatever, every single stat in every system in every football team in the world has a bit of context. You know what I mean? Just because Wan-Bissaka makes 1 million tackles every game doesn't make it the best defender in the world. It probably makes him one of the fucking worst defenders because he's on his arse. Do you know what I mean? So stats are very good, and the good nerds get the good jobs, not the fucking fellas on Twitter talking bollocks and working for tabloids.
Yeah,
it's a great point.
Yeah, go on, Keith.
No, it's a great point because look, I'm reading at the moment a book about the origins of Hungarian football. I class myself as a football history nerd. Do you know what I mean? So I don't look at calling someone a stats nerd a big insult. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just you're into a certain thing. That's fair enough. But as you said, it's how you use the stats and how you use it. I was on Twitter earlier, right? I don't want to refer to it, but this comment came up. You are free to watch the game for aesthetics. Most idiots do. But that always leads to stupid opinions, which are not only wrong, but the exact opposite is the truth. Now, that's someone arguing about, you can't enjoy football without stats. I enjoy football for the aesthetics. I enjoy looking at me with my eyes and making an opinion and a judgment on a player. I'll make a judgment on Naby Keita based on what I see with my eyes, not on what the stats sheet says. He's pressure. I can see when he presses. I can see when he's pressuring. I can see when he's intercepting. You don't need to see reams and reams of stats to tell you what your eyes can see. What stats can't measure is a lot of the other stuff that I'm also interested, heart, determination, or lack of, so stats can be very misleading. I think it's, they can be used for good, but they can be very, very misleading as well. And don't go into XG chain and all that sort of crap,
No, but you see, this isn't, you can love stats or you can hate stats, or you can be somewhere in between. You could be someone that relies on them completely. You could be someone that doesn't read them from one end of their life to the other. My whole point about this is that how in the name of fuck do we do 7-2 to Aston Villa, and the big take from it is Naby Keita's tackle count over 4 games. That's what I couldn't get my head around. But that's what I couldn't get my head around. I couldn't get my head around this. I'm sitting here as a Liverpool fan, right? 24 or 48 hours or whatever it is after a horrible defeat. Let's be honest about it. Some people laughed it off and went, yeah, it's a freak result. Yeah, you can do that to make yourself feel a bit better. But at the end of the day, it was horrendous. And as a football fan, as a Liverpool fan, I'm looking at it going, holy Jesus, And a guy that works with my wife asked me the other day, he's a Villa fan, what do you think? And I went, Liverpool 3-0. And then he messaged me, he messaged her and I got it. She sent it on to me, like slagging me off, like, and you have to take all this shit on the chin for a couple of days, and that's fine. But I just cannot get where that comes from. And on top of that, for me, Naby Keita, probably Jordan Henderson, and maybe one or two that are creeping in, Joe Gomez and maybe Roberto Firmino are the other two on the sidelines now that are next on the hit list. Adrian is an outlier because he's only in there because someone's injured. He's
Ronaldo got grief in pre-season.
Yeah, he got a lot.
Yeah, I know that, but it's this when Alan gets a bit here and there, but I'm talking about consistent stuff. Do you know what I mean? And for me, there's a lot more to talk about, or a lot more to put down on paper or in digital media than someone's tackle count. Listen, I'll put it very simply, right? There's no way I didn't watch that game on Sunday night and go, do you know what? We have to check Naby Keita's fucking tackle count after that.
Yeah.
No normal fucking thinking human being is thinking that, other than I'm going to write this and see for a reaction. And you shouldn't be writing stuff for a reaction. You write stuff because you believe in it. You write stuff because you're interested in it, not for a reaction.
I'd love to know what motivates a journalist these days, because surely the art is kind of dead now. I mean, when you're going to college and are you saying to yourself, I can't wait to work for that shit newspaper? You know, surely there must be more to it than that. You know what I mean? Like the idea that someone sits down and gets intrigued and gets drawn in by an article, that's not seen to be the way. It's all about creating rage.
Because free world says there, some people critic everything and some people never critic anything. That's fair. That is fair. You do get people like that. You absolutely get people like that. What I'm saying is, I'd rather someone be very critical of Naby Keita this week and very complimentary to him next week, and then I know, well, that fella's actually just very balanced on Naby Keita, you know. But if a mate of mine is constantly telling me Naby Keita is crap, you know, every week, and then Naby Keita scores 3 and he goes, well, that's only because they were playing such and such, I go, listen, there's no fucking point. Do you know what I mean? But overall, I think the scapegoating thing has to stop, and it has to stop quick. And not only, when I look at it, I think it is coming from Liverpool fans. That's you know, without doubt. But I think at times when you see articles or you see opinion pieces or whatever it might be, most of the time when I see them, I just go, I'm not even responding to that, because no matter how good your response is, it's a response, and that's what people are looking for. So, can we get on to random stuff?
Yeah.
You're the boss.
Right. Andy was telling me yesterday that he goes to Avoca. Everyone knows this, he's notions. He goes to Avoca, right? And we're having a chat on the WhatsApp, and he said, I get down to Avoca, yeah, no vouchers for me. I don't get vouchers in the post off Avoca like normal. Not like normal. What was the word he used? I can't think of it now, but I'll think of it now in a second.
Don't say the word, because I'll be called a Torby or something.
Right. I can't remember the word. I gotta look it up now. But he basically said, "No, I don't get vouchers in the post like normal people," and you know, they don't do any of that. And basically, like, he was going on about shopping, and I was wondering, Andy, when you go shopping, is there a facility in the Notion supermarket where you can, like, stop halfway through a big shop, have afternoon tea, you know, crumpets, anything like that? Is there a facility in Avoca for that, or is it just now in and out?
There actually is. But at the moment, with all the restrictions, it's a bit fucked. So it's kind of a get in and get out jobby at the moment. You can't even sit down at the coffee bar or the sushi bar while you're doing your shopping.
Bastards.
Yeah. So it's kind of it's taking a lot of the enjoyment out of it. You know what I mean? The trip down to Avoca, you know, it's a day out in itself. You know, float around, waste all your money. You know, pick up whatever you want, and sit down. And as you say, you could sit down and have your tea and crumpets or coffee and crumpets normally, but now, unfortunately, with the restrictions, you can't. So no matter what we do in life or what we enjoy in life, this COVID-19 shit is ruining it. It has an impact. Absolutely everything good.
Would you say that the biggest thing that has annoyed you about COVID is the effect it's had on your trip to Avoca?
No. But in fairness, it's up there. It is up there.
Yeah. Keith, you know when you go and do your big shop?
Yeah.
And you get to the... No, I know that. You do it in one of the tenement gaps that I do with it. Yeah. But when you go there, you know the way
you get your Jersey milk when you go to Aldi?
You know...
what oil is it in?
No, you see, we're not having Jersey milk, not like you. But you know when you get to the till, Keith, you know when you get to the till, right? You know when they say, have you got a club card or whatever, and you take it's on your keys usually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you have one of them?
I don't. No.
What?
Me missus does.
Yeah, but you the household will have them.
Yeah, but if I go on my own, she runs out the door after me. You haven't got my club card. I'm like, for fuck's sake. And vouchers as well.
But the vouchers are there, and you have the thing. Andy yesterday was absolutely horrified at the thought of putting a loyalty card on your key ring for your shopping.
Imagine someone seeing your keys and you had Aldi on it. Tesco's.
Do you know
Stone
something?
Stars.
Do you know something? Here's one for you. I was looking at my keys the other day. Do you know what's still on my key ring? Extra vision.
Give over.
An extra vision card, yeah. I don't know how long they're closed. I can't even remember. Going back years and years and years.
6 years.
I'd say you have Johnny's in your wallet that are expired about 12 years ago.
Yeah, the ones from Vietnam, the reconditioned ones. That was great, crack, wasn't it? They're reconditioning the Johnnies over in Vietnam and repackaging them and sending them back. Yeah, 300,000 of them. Yeah.
How did they do that?
Free World is asking what's Extra Vision. Extra Vision is like Extra Vision. It was like a video rental shop. Yeah. That's basically what it is. But that closed. Blockbuster. Yeah, it'd be similar to Blockbuster. But that's gone. It's gone years now. It's gone absolutely years. If you have any random questions,
someone talking about their phone that they had a deadly app there they could put all their club card things on.
Oh, you'd like that now. You'd like that.
If I did all that shit, I would. Yeah, be nice to have them all in one place, and then nobody'd see our keys.
If you ever fall on hard times, Andy, that's the route you'll be going down.
Yeah.
Hide them on the phone and just scan it when no one's looking.
I'd say when Andy went for his mortgage, he showed them that keys and went, "Look, not a club card," and so I don't need it. That's what I'd say happened.
Part of the assessment nowadays.
Mercedes key ring to a Toyota car.
The whole lot. The BMW. Make sure that's sitting face up on the table when we're talking to the bank manager.
And they know that. Yeah, they know it's a BMW key from the other side as well.
Yeah. Come here. If you have any random questions, throw them in. We got one on the Flick app from Avo. I presume Avo isn't in tonight, but he left us one and he said, have you ever been doing something? Now, don't read this the wrong way, right? Don't be dirty about it. Don't be bold, right? But he said, right? I get it up on the screen here because it was quite a long message, but I'll try get it down to. He said, have you ever done something and as soon as you've done it, or even in the midst of doing it, you've thought, oh shit, why or what have I said or done here, right? Now, no smut, lads, right? Basically what he's saying is, he basically, Halloween, he had fireworks with the young lad. He sat them on a wheelie bin to light them, and as soon as he did them, he knew we're going to have issues here. He ended up having to escape from his own shed to avoid all these repeaters being fucking flying in and hitting the shed, and he just managed to escape and, not get his child killed. And then, Avo is there, so I hope I've explained that quite well. Is there anything you've ever been doing or done or said and you kind of go, oh, for fuck's sake, I can't believe I've done this? Andy?
I'm not sitting here live talking to shit like that.
Yeah,
come on.
It
can be just something like that where you do something stupid and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Apart from retrieving balls over railings, go on.
Well, I remember when I used to work in Tesco when I was a kid, and I was changing all the barcodes around the place and changing dog food wrapper, on being.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And I changed all them, and I was getting barcodes off things and putting them on other things that were cheaper. And when the first one or two happened, like, it was kind of funny, and then I realized, shit, like, I'm after doing hundreds of these. I'm in serious trouble here, like, because all of those items are going to go through the tills today or the next week, and I'm in serious shit.
So you had what people thought were like cans of beans, and they were dog food.
Yeah, like if you take off the thing off.
How would you got time to do all this?
Bored.
Part-time working, like packing shelves.
Well, it was definitely part-time. You're spending most of it taking fucking stuff off shelves.
Yeah, if you just anything like spaghetti hoops or beans or that, and put dog food wrappers around instead and just swap them. And when people are coming saying that they're fucking beans is dog food, that's the crash.
It's the crash. Strongly worded letter.
The best bit was, the way you can lean on the scales and get a barcode off in the fruit and veg.
Yeah.
And there was always like these
in Evoca though, there's someone there to do that for you though, isn't there? You wouldn't be pressing buttons and all down there.
I don't think they look at it in Evoca and just say that's €50 and just say it
for the cabbage.
But anyway, you could lean on the scales and you'd get a little print off of one of the exotic fruits, whatever. They're mad expensive. They'd be like 20 quid a fucking pound or something. And you lean on the scales as hard as you could and press the button. So you're going to get a little barcode off that's going to register for like €120, a sticker, and then cut the barcode off and go around the shop and stick it over things like light bulbs. So then you get an L one like comes up to the tail and she's got light bulb. And like she's bought 5 items, should come to like €12 and your one goes like €125.
How long did you last that job?
I should have just done one of them, but I done way too many. Like I was too deep. You know what I mean?
So let me get this straight, right? You're working in a supermarket part-time as a young player, and you're doing fuck all bar leaning on weighing scales, printing off barcodes and wandering around the shop.
I know he sneers at anyone that shop in Tesco now, but he's in a vocal lady.
I know, yeah. Slim Pickens says, snap Gavin from the north and still have my Extravision card in my wallet. It was on my keys the other day. But it must be closed about 6 years. So Andy's just robbing people of their money. Big Tory heading them.
It was so ridiculous that it was always copped. But I should have just done one or two and waited for the chat. Waited to see if I'd be there to witness it happening. But to increase my chances of actually seeing the reaction, I did it like 100 times around the place, and then I realized.
Oh, just to make sure that you got a reaction and you were there for one of them.
So when I got the bollocking over it, I was like there's probably about 99 more of these around the shop.
Freeworld said he passed out at his sister's wedding after drinking way too much and woke up the next morning to the sound of his nan slagging him off downstairs. He wanted the ground to swallow him up. Jeez, if your nanny's giving out about you, you've done something seriously wrong. Seriously wrong. Keith, is there anything that you've said, done, anything stupid where you knew at the time this isn't going to end well?
Yeah. I remember, right, I was at a mate of mine's 21st. It was about 20 years ago, and it was in December. And I'm in Dublin. I'm from Ringsend, which is along the river. And the party was in a yacht club down there called the Yacht Club. It's a round club. And after the party, we all decided to go down onto the little pontoon and jump in the Liffey, right, for a swim. 1-2 o'clock in the morning or something like that, full of blatant gargle. And I can't swim. Well, I can now, but I couldn't then. And we all jumped in, and I realised I was in the Liffey with a pair of Timberland boots and big heavy jeans and a jacket and all that. And I'm like, how the fuck am I getting out? Yeah, I'm gonna die. Why did I jump in? Why did I think this was a good idea? And there was a few of us were in the same boat, so we managed to bleed and get over to the little pontoon thing, and there was no ladder to get up on it. So it was like a bleeding 20-man job trying to drag us all out with our stupid clothes on. Some of the sensible ones jumped in, took their shoes and all off and just got in and could swim, which helped. I couldn't. I thought, I can float around in the shallow end in Spain, I'll be all right. No, the Liffey in December is a different kettle of fish altogether. So that was one that I'm like, yeah, bad choice, but I'm in now, so walk it out, try and get out. I made it out, which was good. Made me want to learn to swim as well in case it ever happened again.
Yeah, don't be jumping in the Liffey ever. Not even because it's cold, it's deep, and you can't swim. It's fucking manky dirty. You don't know watch it. Even if you survive, the chance that you're getting some sort of terminal disease out of it. Andy, someone said there now that Trev Downey is a book critic. Have you heard this?
No, that's interesting.
No?
Yeah. It's good the way Trev's unlocked his account.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? I've seen that earlier myself.
You can retweet his meanderings now. It's really nice. So when he's talking about like planted potatoes and all, you can retweet that.
Yeah. Whereas you couldn't a couple of days ago.
No.
Do you reckon he'll lock the account soon? Like if you want to get in there and follow him, you need.
He was threatening to lock his account there to me the weekend.
Right. And what was that due to?
There's so many things.
Come here. Do we have enough? We must have enough money now for his diffuser, do we?
But you're counting the cash, are you?
No, I'm not allowed to count it. Not allowed to count it after accusations that all went into my back pocket.
Stop. Yeah, we're still waiting on what the. Oh, it was super chats, wasn't it? Was it super chats? Or
yeah, but I think we've got a couple of them. I think we've enough there. So what are we looking at? €60 all in.
Yeah, well, with the kind of the oils party pack, like it might be a bit more.
The oils party pack.
Yeah, for the diffuser, you need to get the oils, not just the diffuser. Diffuser on its own is useless. You need all the oils.
Do you not get any oils with it, like built in standard?
I'll have to ask the boss.
Right,
she'll be able to tell me.
Well, could you order one with the party pack? A fucking pack. Imagine calling it a party pack for stuff that just sent that gets shot out into the room.
It's not just. It's a great piece of kit. You see,
I bet you you're still not. I bet you're not using yours anymore.
I am.
No, you're not.
100% am.
Have you had to top up the oils yet?
No, the oils last for ages. You're only you're putting in about a half a pint of water and 2 drops of oil. That's all.
Right. So it's just like those electric smokes. Just dropping a few drops into it, and same diff. That's just the same. It's the same thing. It's just you don't have to hold this.
Yeah, it diffuses. It makes the little tiny drops of oil go a long way.
Right. So, can you order the diffuser with the party pack of oils?
Of course I can.
I think we have his address, but no one tell Trev.
Don't tell Trev.
We get it sent to him. And what we do is we just write down lots of love from Chris, Flash, Bob, Mind Over Matter, David, Lennon, Red, Steve, Aiden, and we just put all the names on it, loads of names on it, and you just won't know what the fuck's going on. Aiden actually asked Gav, have you hit them golf balls yet? No, is the answer.
Golf balls?
I'm trying to hit the golf balls to give away the jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And it's doing me head in because it's a mixture of having no time to do it and the weather just being horrendous. I'm actually thinking of just going on to the brand new golf game I bought on the Xbox and going to a par 3. I just keep hitting balls at this par 3 from the tee. And if I get a hole in one, that's the winner. That's actually, I'm down to doing that at the minute. It's ridiculous because I still have, Keith knows, I have the 5 finalists. And I just can't fucking get out to do it.
Get Dave Lennon to do it.
Dave Lennon. Could we get Dave Lennon to do it?
He's a fine golfer, and I think he'd hit the targets in one go.
Do you?
Yeah,
David Lennon. Could David
he always sends me videos of himself at the driving range with his high draw.
Yeah. Well, could David Lennon go to the driving range, video himself trying to hit a ball into a target 50 yards away, and it's in groups of 5 because of 5 finalists, and then if he just comes back and says I got it in ball 24, we know that number 4 won it. Do you know what I mean? Or if he gets number 25, we know ball number 5 won it. I wonder could David Lennon do that? He says yip. Is that in Nordy speak?
Yip.
Yeah,
I
think so.
Aye.
Well, if David Lennon can video himself trying to do this and let me know what ball he gets it in, brilliant, and send me the video and we'll put it up on our YouTube channel. So there you go. He can do that, or I can attempt to get out and do it at some stage if I get the time.
But he has to do commentary in his Nordy accent.
Oh yeah. And if anyone comes near me, just say you need to go away in an Nordy accent, and they'll go away. Let me see. Gav, the jersey. Tommy says Gav, the jersey for next season will be out by the time you do it. No, between me and David Lennon, now we're going to get it done ASAP. I promise.
Between David Lennon, we're going to get it done ASAP.
Okay. Anything else you just want to talk about, lads? Because the random questions are poor tonight. I have to be honest with you.
Can I just touch on something there, right? That I saw our boy Coney, Man U's finest fan, is in the chat there tonight, and he's talking about Poch to Man United. I seen a comment on Twitter earlier, right, where some fans were saying, how about Solskjaer as director of football and Pochettino as manager? They're going down the joint manager road on this one, aren't they? Because they'll be terrified to sack Ole. This is going to be blatant golden. This will be great.
I think Solskjaer stays there because he, despite what you read, I think he just does what he's told.
He's a yes man.
Yeah, I think he does what he's told. And,
yes man.
We'll have to wait and see, but not ours. The longer he's there, the better. We need a confirmation from David Lennon that he's going to do this for us. If he says he will,
he's already said, yep, no worries. So I think I think he's confirmed.
Okay, cool. Well, if he has the video of it, so we have proof. So if he videos and lets us know what ball number he's hitting, and then if he gets it, we'll put it up on your YouTube channel and we can announce the winner and get it out of the bleeding way. We also gave away a magazine from the Copboy podcast to a person that entered the, what's it called again?
The Predictor Race.
The Predictor Race. We've emailed them and they haven't come back. So we're going to give them another week. If they don't come back, we're going to just raffle that off again. Owen Conway says he needs confirmation that Trev Downey is alive. Yeah, no, he is 100% sure. He was on Twitter today, unlocked his account and everything. So there you go. Andy, have you anything else to talk about?
No, I just see Peter Jones announcing there's a new air fryer out. That's a stacker. It's got shells. It's a game changer, apparently.
Oh,
Yeah, but this is the same Peter Jones that puts pizza in the toaster, isn't it?
it is.
Peter Jones doesn't put the pizza in the toaster anymore. He realised I was right.
Yeah, but he did say his toast still tastes like pizza. So it's like the diffuser. It only takes a little bit of pizza to stay a long time. So
There you go.
while he might not be doing it, he's still getting the pizza.
Pizza flavour toast. You could live with that.
What's your favourite song?
Mine,
What?
Favourite song?
Song?
Yeah.
Forever in Blue Jeans.
Forever in Blue Jeans. What's that one? What's that one when we were making up a playlist? You want to play it? I'll find it now because it's on Spotify. But every time I hear it, I think you.
Me?
Yeah.
What was that?
I'll find it if you go on. So you're having Forever in Blue Jeans. Keith, what are you having?
My favourite song. My favourite song is Smokey Robinson, The Tracks of My Tears.
Fucking hell.
don't even know that song.
You would.
You would?
So take a good look at my face.
It's an awful
You'd
song.
see my smile looks out of place. It's a great song.
You
Take
do
You
know,
Don't
Andy.
Know It, no? Did you ever see Platoon? It was in Platoon.
Yeah.
He does now. He does.
I just wanted to sing it more.
Yes. Oh, I knew he was doing that. No, I don't know. Keep going there, Keith, and I tell you. No, we done up a song we done up a playlist for when we were fitting out the studio, and I put loads of songs in, and Andy said, I want this song. Oh, it'll do me head in. I'll find it by the time I finish, though.
I made my own version of that Paddy is Life.
Did you?
Yeah, kind of just took out a lot of the shit that was in it. And
There was no shit in it, though.
That was.
There wasn't.
Nah, there was a few songs that when you're in the car where you got sick of Spotify, like kind of doing shuffle onto them. Right. So but it was great. There was some bangers in it as well.
My favourite.
I'm putting a comment up there. Carl Blake, 2 out of 3 ain't bad for Keith. Now that must be my mate Carl because that's my karaoke song.
Meatloaf.
Yeah. So if it is, how's it going?
I'll have Some Might Say by Oasis Place as my favourite song. Both the original and the demo acoustic version. It's
Pink
Oasis'
Floyd,
best song.
Comfortably Numb.
Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, is David Lennon.
Yeah.
Why is David Lennon still here? Why isn't he gone off to hit these golf shots?
He's psyching himself up with a bit of Van Halen. I only found out today that Eddie Van Halen done the guitar in Beat It by Michael Jackson.
Really?
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Any other questions? Has any other questions come in?
Oh, I said earlier on when I was retweeting this that the comments were going to be critical tonight.
Yeah.
Coldplay, anything with Coldplay for Andy. I do like a bit of Coldplay. And you know the one we lifted the title.
Yellow.
Yeah.
No. What was it?
What's it?
Something the lights or something, was it?
Yeah. Full of
Sky full of stars, something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Or do you know what's good on Spotify if you can actually go onto an artist that you like and then go to Coldplay radio, and then it's a load of other artists kind of in that genre.
Yeah.
That's a very good thing to do. Sky full of stars.
There's not a hope of me going into bleeding Spotify and hitting Coldplay radio. Coldplay, Jesus Christ, lads. Antico says the Beatles embarrass Oasis. The Beatles are brilliant. Probably the best band of all time, but I think Oasis, some might say, is just a cracking tune. If you actually go on to what?
Sky full of notions.
Sky full of notions. I'm still trying to find this song.
Look.
I'm still trying to
Mind
find this
looking
song.
there, Gav. Mind over matters thrown in a couple of times about the Salah with the homeless fella. Have you heard that one today?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. So this was where he was at a garage and there was a homeless fella getting a bit of abuse.
It was.
Salah was
Let
in
him
the
know,
garage.
Keita.
Salah was in the petrol station and there was a homeless fella getting a bit of jip from a load of scopes, I think. And he ran them off or whatever and said, like, you know, this could be yours. Jog on. And then gave your man a ton. Gave him a one-er just to see him on his way. So a little coin act caught on camera, I think, by the garage, and the homeless fella confirmed it. So Mo, good egg. Suarez would have come along and taken that 100 off the homeless fella as soon as Mo got out of sight, and that's the difference, I suppose, between.
No, I don't know. I think Suarez could have dropped a grand with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it probably would have been counterfeit. So, you know, Suarez was that.
Yeah. He could have easily. Yeah.
Getting rid of moody money. That's what makes him great.
Flash Gordon. No, not Flash Gordon. Barry Devaney says guilty pleasures. Any guilty pleasures, Andy?
Musically, fucking
No,
loads.
it's all. It's all. Oh, Little Mix. Music-wise is a guilty pleasure.
Little Mix, yeah.
They're the business they are.
Roxy.
T-Swizzle.
Roxy.
T-Swizzle will be mine.
Who?
T-Swizzle, what the fuck is that?
Taylor Swift.
Oh, right. Come here. Lads, I'm going to let you in on something. I think I'll put it in our WhatsApp group and the boys may have seen it. But Andy has this awful thing of just pressing the green arrow down and reads no messages. But if you go onto YouTube, right, and I'll get it for you now, but if you go onto YouTube and type in, I think it's Ice JJ Fish. So Ice space JJ space Fish. Type that in and go to a video called On the Floor. If you want to go and do that after this show. And,
yeah, I remember you put that in there.
Thank me later. It's absolutely outrageous. Outrageous. It's just the best. Ice JJ Fish and On the Floor is the name of it. All right. Thank me later. I once watched it trying to get on a plane in Edinburgh, really drunk, and nearly got refused onto the plane. I was laughing that much at it. Guilty pleasures. What have we got?
It's no Roxy. That's all I say.
No. Guinness or Murphy, says King Kenny.
Oh, fuck off.
Neither.
Guinness.
That's a Bush Tucker trial.
Murphy's.
Where
would you have to be to drink Murphy's? Or where would you have to be from? You're not a dub if you're drinking Murphy's. Are you?
I remember years ago, right, we were in secondary school and we all went on the hop one day and got the boat over to Holyhead, and we were just going to go on the lash over the back. We got on the boat. The only tap that was working was Beamish. So the only point
Jesus
you could have was
Christ.
Beamish.
Oh
So
my
Beamish,
God.
it was absolutely deplorable.
I think
So
the
we got
bar- I
stuck on
think the
Great
barman
North
had
End
you-
Road.
I think the barman was pulling your leg there.
No, he genuinely, we had I think one or two, and then we switched the bottles. It was like, this is fucking deplorable stuff. Awful gear.
Yeah, I think it's Murphy's is Cork. Has to be.
Oh, I have the song.
It's like Dave Lennon was telling me up where in his local they only drink harp.
That's a very naughty thing, man.
Yeah.
Breaking news. Hold on.
he's,
Stop everything.
He's polished off many a sparkler.
Dylan Westwood says, Gav, I finally had a Lucozade and Malibu.
Frosty.
Spot on. Other
That-
people hated, but I loved it. Malibu and Lucozade is amazing.
Yeah, they're called Frosties. They're amazing.
No, but there's another one you can have as well. With Lucozade, you can do Tia Maria with it as well. But Malibu and Lucozade is just outrageously good. People that don't like it, I'd stop being friends with them. I'd go that far. Harp Lager, says James Doherty.
Many a kind of scaldy harp in me time.
Disgraceful.
No, not for me.
Disgraceful.
Avo says, have you had an Indian made yet? Nope, I haven't. I don't see the problem. Don't see the problem with that. I really haven't. Why? I don't need to. Peter Jones says, have you lads ever had a Turbo Guinness? What the fuck's a Turbo Guinness?
A Guinness shite, is it? I don't know.
Don't know.
What's a Turbo Guinness?
Where's
A
Peter
Guinness
Jones
would have
from?
been-
Peter Jones lives in Liverpool.
Turbo Guinness.
Must be a Guinness with a bleeding Jägermeister or something dropped in it.
It must
Or
be, yeah.
Red Bull or something.
Oh, I wonder, is that a baby Guinness then?
Half Smirnoff Ice and half Guinness.
Oh, fuck off. What?
It's amazing.
It separates. No way.
Owen Burke says Malibu and Lucas Age are definitely getting some sort of diabetes off that. No, I'm telling you, it's the fucking business. Dylan says original or orange, Gav. Lucas Aid or the original Lucas Aid. Just normal Lucas Aid. Oh, Conway asked why Rovers. That's for me. First ever team I was brought to see in Ireland, the League of Ireland, was Rovers. That's why I support them. Let me see. Yeah, Peter Jones says it's half a Smirnoff Ice with half a Guinness poured on top, and it separates and looks like a blackjack. As in the blackjack sweets.
Did you ever hear that Usain Bolt used to be mad for Black Bulls, which was Red Bull and Guinness mixed? If
Not
you'd
having
be
that.
into that sort of carry on. He used to drink them in Jamaica. Apparently it's a big, if you have any Jamaicans in there, it's a big Jamaican delicacy.
Do Southern gents get the book fast? Asked David. And yeah, it's widely available down here.
I was in Edinburgh and someone was drinking Buckfast and Smirnoff Ice, and that goes a mad purple colour, and it's actually lovely.
Yeah, I don't
don't
really
like
like them to
Smirnoff
change colours. It's like drinking, what you call it, Pernod and blackcurrant. It's not good for you. Not good for you.
Strip paint off the wall.
Stephen Max says Gav has zero notions. You're right.
The
I have
opposite end of the notion spectrum.
When me and Andy were born and they were separating the notions, he just grabbed them all and ran for the hills. I got none.
It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito and twins. All the
So-
good shit went to one side.
If anybody is on, if
I never
anybody's
even
on-
asked Gav this,
yeah.
but I bet you don't like whiskey.
I'm not a huge fan of whiskey, but I wouldn't say no to it. But you know, all this shit, you're sitting there and putting 3 lumps of ice in your glass and pouring a tiny bit into your
very
glass and
wankery,
swirling
isn't
it
it?
around and all.
It's
It's
not wankery.
shy bag behaviour.
Extremely
It is.
shy.
It is.
I'd like,
It is.
I'd like to know where. I'd like to know what Free World's favorite whiskey is.
Chivas Regal. Is that whiskey?
Point of Buckfast and Stella. Says Retro One Limb. Best of luck.
That sounds like, yeah, a
Best
house
of
party
luck.
playing special fish bowl, doesn't it?
Best of luck.
Buckfast and Stella.
So if anyone's on Spotify, you can go into Spotify and type in "Paddy is Life," and that's the soundtrack to us putting the studio together. That's all the songs. But I will let you know that I don't know what it is, but I like it or love it. By Chris Rea is the song Andy asked for to go onto the playlist.
Yeah.
And when it came on, he was like, "This is a banger, lads." I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
There's a story behind that one.
Yeah. Well, do you want to tell it?
No, it's
Is it
whenever
intimate?
soon as European Cup final, they were in the tunnel, and the Liverpool players started singing it.
All right.
84,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
84 was, yeah.
Yeah.
Whiskey, no ice. Carl Blake is right. So
Yeah, but what-
I do
but
like the
listen.
whiskey.
Yeah, but listen, right, so come here. This is what's going to happen with the whiskey with you, right? You don't like ice, but I can guarantee you put a little sip in your glass and you sit back on the sofa and you swirl it around, don't you? You swirl it around, then you kind of look at the glass and look away from it, and then you take a little sip and you go, yeah, that's nice. And then you swirl it around. Why don't you just pour a load in? Just pour a fucking big load in and just take swigs of it.
No, because that's why would you do that? You wouldn't enjoy it. Like, you know, when talking
Listen,
about
come here.
a
Come
nice
here, Andy.
whiskey, say like a Yellow Spot,
Oh, you smell it and all, don't you?
Redbreast, sit there.
Aidan says, Andy Defo listens to Driving Home for Christmas in the middle of July.
100%.
It just makes me think when Andy has a bad day at work, he just lashes Mariah Carey on the way home in the car. Oh, I
That is
like that.
good.
But go on, anyway. Tell us how great whiskey is and how you just be a wanker with it. Go on.
Well, there's a massive misunderstanding about, like, so I remember all I drank was fucking beer, and then someone said, drink wine, you know, it's it's more healthy. And they kind of had to tell me how to drink it, you know what I mean, to enjoy it. And then again with whiskey, you have to drink it in very, very, very small amounts for it to not make you, for the taste not to disgust you. Do you know what I mean? Tiny little, and let the little sip stay in your mouth for a while, and then you taste the flavors, and then you enjoy it. But that's.
Do you smell the whiskey and go, oh yeah, I can get chestnuts off this and all?
100%.
Fucking absolute shite bags.
But I read the bottle. I read the bottle first to make sure I know what notes I'm looking for.
Because you're gluten free. Lads, I don't know. I'd read the back of the cans as well, in fairness. See what's going on. Then I just mill them.
Madge Apple says whiskey and red. Does that mean whiskey and
red
lemonade, or does he mean whiskey and red wine? I wouldn't mix the two.
Red lemonade.
And he says, "You're old, man. You'll be old one day too, pup."
No, I think he says you're only, man.
Oh,
so take that. Apologise, Andy.
Yeah,
Andy's had having 3 sips of whiskey there. He's looking
whiskey flavour.
Fucking bullshit. No, he's dead right.
Andy Kirkman says, who can drink the most out of you guys? I bet Grizz is pissed on the smell of it. Grizz doesn't drink. He's a Muslim.
No, he's a good
He's
Muslim.
against it. Yeah. In fairness to him, he's a sort. He is the sort that'll go to the pub with you, though. He will go to the pub, but he won't drink. And he scours the food menus to make sure it's all halal and all that. And that's, I always slag him over, but that's the truth. Who could drink the most out of us? I don't know. Who's a good gargler? It all depends. Like, you know, we've gone to Liverpool and started at 6 in the morning and gone till 6 the next morning and been fairly okay. You know, and then there's other days you go out at 8 o'clock and by 11:30 you're on your ear. But I love all day drinking. Love it.
Yeah. I generally be drunk on 2 points. Like, would be drunk on 2 points, but would be able to drink 20 after that and not get any worse. So I never get maggoty.
Really?
Yeah, never get maggoty, but I get drunk quick. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
Andy definitely gets giddy. I'd say Andy gets giddy. Do you, Andy?
It's all about the pace that you're drinking, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you lash 2 points into you, you're gonna be, your night's over. Do you know what I mean? Well, as far as that's for me.
Come here, I go out and the first point I don't even feel it. I swallow the fucking thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? It's gone. I'd pace myself, and as long as you pace yourself, you have a decent night. If I was trying to keep up with a fucking big lad, you know what I mean? You'd be fucked. I'll be upside down after 2 hours. No, I have to say, no. If I pay no attention to what I'm drinking, and what I mean by that is I'm not counting or going ridiculous, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just having the points as they come, not a bother. It's when you start thinking about it, going, I'm here fucking 6 hours and I've had whatever amount of points, then your head starts telling you there's something wrong.
Weddings is where I make a really bad fucking show.
Love weddings. No, I'm always grand at weddings.
No,
I'd be worse. It depends. If you get invited to the whole thing, you're brand new. If you get invited to the afters, you're going in there like a bleeding lunatic.
Afters, fuck off.
Yeah. No one gets invited to afters anymore. That's not a thing. But remember years ago, you go to, your cousin's mate is getting married. Come on down later on tonight, and you go in like afters. You go in like a bleeding head case. Yeah. And you're just hammering drink out of it. But like when we're at weddings, my wife doesn't drink, very rarely drinks, and she'd like, say the DJ is over at 1 and everyone's kind of pissing off. 1:30 she'll say to me, I'm off to bed. Don't buy too many drinks, because she knows once the music has stopped and it's like, oh yeah, come on, we go up, and I'm going up and I'm asking your man, I'm on my own. At the bar, your man's asked me for 60 quid, you know what I mean? And I don't know what he's asking me for, but I'm giving it to him.
Give him 100 just to be safe.
Yeah, but I love the all day drinking. The weddings are great. Yeah. Great, yeah. We should have more of them.
Weddings are great, but I love the all day drinking. You know, when the sun is out or whatever, and in the bills or sitting outside, all that jazz. You go all day. Avo put in there 2 points, Keith 2 points and wants to fight. No, I'm not an aggro drunk. I'm a merry drunk. I'm all right.
Definitely not.
But I just get, like I say, 2 points. I just get merry. You know what I mean? And that's it. But yeah, I love the sun. Sitting out in the sun all day drinking is great.
Yeah, I like it. I love air trips to Liverpool, where no pressure on you. Just you're going out and you can stay out as long as you want. And if you find a nice beer garden or a nice boozer, and you just stay there for the day. I'm not a big fan of moving. Moving here. Let's go to this pub and let's go. Give me a pub, sit me in it, and once you're around the lads having the crack, you're absolutely game ball. Do you know what I mean? Dylan Westwood said yes to a pineapple on pizza. That question's come up a lot. And the answer is no.
I don't mind it, not to say.
Oh, come on.
I wouldn't order it, but if there was one there, I'd eat it.
Andy's away there for a bottle, says David Lennon. No, I think he just went over just to check on his whiskey, sniffed it, and said, that's great. And then just left it there.
The door just opened by itself, so I went to close it again.
That's Trev, the ghost of Trev.
Yeah.
The ghost of Trev. Right, is there anything else before we go? Because I don't see any more random questions coming in there. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about before we go, Keith?
No, all good.
All good? All right.
Yeah, me arse. I'm sitting in my hallway on a wooden box here. The thing is fucking killing me, creaking and all.
Andy, is there anything else you have on your mind?
I'm reading through the comments here just in case.
I'll take your time. There's not when you're ready. Owen Burke says down Matthew Street on a Friday afternoon drinking points for 150. I never go into Matthew Street when I'm in Liverpool.
I do.
Why?
No.
Why don't I?
Yeah.
I just think there's so many deadly places around Liverpool. You don't need to
there is.
Matthew Street.
But you know the way in Liverpool they go around just giving you free shots. You don't get that in Ireland.
Yeah.
Listen, if that was going on in Ireland, for fuck's sake, Andy.
Are they free or do you normally pay? You're going to pay £1 or £2, don't you?
I don't know. I don't do Matthew Street.
If you were in Dublin, you'd be paying £6 or £7 for.
Yeah, you wouldn't be getting free shots in Dublin. That's for sure.
I don't do Matthew Street. It's not a thing, and I wouldn't mind. When we were there 2 years ago, we stayed literally just off Matthew Street on North John Street and just walked by Matthew Street every day. I think there's way better. There's just so many good places in Liverpool. And as I said, like the last time I was there for the Norwich game, I got there the day before the game because of the way the flights fell, and I just went out on the Thursday on my own. It was deadly. Just walked Liverpool and went into pub after pub. It was brilliant. So try that. If you can get to Liverpool on your own before the lads turn up, go out for the day on your own. I was up around all the pub, Philharmonica and everything, just going in and drinking Guinness and all sorts of messing. But yeah, it's an absolute great trip. Avo says, here's one, Jesus, here's one to end it. When did being called a top red become an insult? Andy, over to our top red correspondent before we finish up.
See, I don't know what top red. I still don't. I've been called it so many times. I don't really even know what it means.
Yeah, one of those though.
I would have thought it just meant that like your football team was beyond criticism or something, But it doesn't seem to mean that. Apparently, like a top red would hate Naby Keita, but love Jordan Henderson and Lallana kind of thing. Now, why that's labelled top red, I don't really know. If someone, and as well, you don't really hear it in real life. It's just on Twitter. I think it was made up on Twitter, and
it's a makey upper, isn't it?
Yeah,
a makey up insult that makes zero sense. You love your team. Okay, I got called the top red on Twitter. It was the lie. It turned out it was an insult. Didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
LBM says try the Grapes pub off Berry Street the next time you're around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, being there. What's the one Dicko brings us to? We always go to with him. The Beehive. The Beehive just got Liverpool one there. What a spot. We nearly got thrown out there the last time though. Timo asks, when is LFC Daytrippers coming to South Africa? They wouldn't let us in, brother.
Can't even get out for a point in Dublin for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's it. Stephen O'Connor says Matthew Street is sound today for a point, but goes a bit mad at night.
I got brought to a pub called the Clubby.
Yeah,
it's about 10-15 minutes walk from Anfield. But it's just like a local boozer. You wouldn't really get fans going there a match day or anything. But that was an experience. I don't know where there's any of the locals will be viewing here tonight would know about the Clubby, but points were only £2, and then there's a chipper next door, and I was in there, housed, fed, fucking £20 upside down.
Deadly.
You just don't get that.
You don't get many of them anymore, don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
£20.
David Lennon says Belfast is hard to be for a beverage. Never been in Belfast. So there you go. Never been.
I wouldn't know what to do in Belfast.
Yeah, true.
What you do, same as what you do here.
You just don't know. Like, you know, I think you might walk in such a way that they spot you and go,
yeah,
he's a Catholic.
He's a goodie.
Follow him down the laneway. You know what I mean?
LBM says the Beehive is mad. I don't know how long you've been gone, but my family used to have the Legs of Man pub next to Lime Street in the 80s and 90s. I like the one up the top of the North John Street. It's the Something of Man as well. And it's a nice pub. I like that as well. Right, is that us? Are we done?
Yep.
Okay. What day is today? Wednesday. We're back on Friday. It's the Friday forecast on Friday, but of course there's no games on over the weekend. So we're going to have a look at all the English teams and the European groups they got, how we feel they get on. We might have a couple of brand new guests on that. I know me and Keita are on anyway Friday. We might have a couple of brand new people on that support Arsenal, Chelsea, the likes. We're trying to get more and more people involved. But that'll be Friday night at 10. You'll get the details beforehand. Watch out though. Starting tomorrow, we're going to have some pre-recorded stuff on YouTube. Just little 5-minute things about certain topics around Liverpool. It'll be me doing them for tomorrow. So watch out for them tomorrow. 2 or 3 little videos, 5 minutes long, about different topics. And that'll hopefully go on. We're going to do it for about a week and see how it works. Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Nice one, yeah.
You know, I don't know how to take you now that you walk around sneering at people because they have their value club card on their keyring. But listen, that's how it's just how it is, isn't it?
What would happen to you if you're walking around Belfast and they seeing all them on your keyrings?
Yeah, if you had a Duns one on, they'd know you're from the south.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. I'd say there's a certain etiquette, like you know. I don't know whether you understood the question. There'd be a certain etiquette there, like a what?
Right, strap yourselves in, boys. We thought we were finishing, but here we go. Go on.
No, but I mean, I'd say if you had it, I don't know whether there's even a Duns up the north, but if you had a green one, like, you know, you might be identified for that. Or if you had a Tesco one and you were Catholic, you might be. Do you know what I mean? It's dodgy. No matter what you do up there, is fucking dodgy.
I don't think it is anymore.
Alienating our northern fan base here, by the way.
Well, I remember wearing a France jersey and having someone having a pop at me over that. I remember.
Was this all in Belfast?
I was in not Belfast, but I was up the north years and years ago working, and I went into a shop and I wanted a can of Club Orange or Pepsi or something, or Club not Club fucking Pepsi, Club Orange or
Rock Shandy.
Rock Shandy. Yeah, Rock Shandy. We don't sell that here. No, I was like, what the fuck? And then I said it to someone. They says, oh no, like there's some shops that will only like sell Pepsi and they'll brand the whole fucking shop in Pepsi, and then there's some alone they won't sell Pepsi because of the colour scheme.
Oh, okay. David,
you know what I mean? Like,
he said David, it's not dodgy anymore. Will you stop, Andy? All right, leave him alone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it is. You have a massive chip on your shoulder over the north of Ireland. That's all I'm going to say.
If I was up the north, I'd prefer to be going around with someone, you know, like keep an eye on you.
I'd say this is all because Mary Lou McDonald liked one of your tweets once, and you're just trying to impress her now. Yeah, exactly. Right, we're out of here. We're definitely out of here before Andy breaks the Northern Peak process on his own, even though it's hanging by a thread.
Boris Johnson and the lads.
Yeah. Fucking hell. This show will never be sponsored by the Titanic Hotel. Let's put it that way. Listen, we're out of here. Keith, it's been a pleasure. Talk to you in a bit, man.
As always. Yep.
Be good. Listen, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We have daily videos coming up here. We have the Friday forecast. We'll be back on Sunday with the Fatback 4. And of course, don't forget the Flick app. Go in there if you want to chat to Liverpool fans about all things LFC. That's it. Talk to you in a bit. Over now.